Okay, in the name of Lord Jesus, this afternoon we would like to study Psalm 126, one of the most beautiful song of Ascent. Ascent is from tears to joy. We will give it a topic 126, from tears to joy. Let's all read the psalm first, loud and clear. And this one, you have to memorize this one. This one is very beautiful and very encouraging, and will be useful for you many, many years to come, personally. Right? So let's read this 126 together. 1, 2, 3. Amen. So this also apply perfectly to our college life or as a young adult, right? Once again, we are navigating heavy anxiety about the future. Maybe school is not a problem. Maybe you are going through some hardship about your relationship issues, right? In college, sometimes you have to in a relationship, or you're almost graduating or just graduate. Sometimes you try to get married in the Lord, whether you are knowing brother or sister yourself or through matchmaking, but not every try is successful. Sometimes people break your heart. The relationship didn't work out. Or you like someone, that someone didn't like you. He likes someone else. So you feel heartbroken. Or maybe in your family, you are going through some tough time. In some extreme cases, maybe your parents are separating, already separate. You just feel so much anxiety on top of everything. Finance. So reading Psalms every single day will give you a lot of strength to move on, to overcome. And of course, verse 5 is most famous of all the verses in the Song of Ascent, mostly quoted, mostly loved by a lot of Christians. Even there was a hymn written just for this verse. That is a hymn that we have just sung. One of my favorite too. The melody, the words, so comforting. Right? Those who sow in tears will reap with a song of joy. So we'll dive deep into this psalm and see how it can inspire us, encourage us. Right. First of all, look at the structure. The structure of this psalm is very symmetrical again, very beautiful, moving along the timeline from the already to the not yet, which is the future. Right. There's only 6 verses, but can be divided into 3 periods of time. The first 2 verses, right? The first 2 verses we can say is talking about the past, right? It is a joyful recount of a memory that God moved and God restored people, bring the people back to Zion. All right. Actually, it's verse 1 to 3. We can say this is verse 1 to 3. 1 to 3 is talking about the past, bringing back the memory, looking back a miraculous restoration, how the Lord have done great things for us. That great thing is referring to a historical fact, right? Historical fact. We'll go into that later, right? And verse 4 talking about present. Verse 4 talking about the present time. There was a certain shift. There was a certain, the lens suddenly focused on right now. Right now we are just like in a very difficult place. We are in a very difficult place, like compared to in the place called Negev. Negev means south. We are in a place called south, which is very dry, super dry land. There's no water. So we are in a very tough place, waiting for miracle to happen again, waiting for restoration again. So the verse 4 is present. And verse 5 and verse 6 is the future, right? What will you like your future be? When you think about the future, what do you picture yourself? Do you, like, sometimes do you imagine, like 10 years from now, where will I be? Of course, you'll put on a few more kilos. Everyone, young people usually are slimmer, right? But you're a few more, right? 10 years from now, maybe you just got married. 20 years from now, what would that be? Wow. You'll be near 40 years old. Right. So sometimes you think far away, what will my future be? All right. If you are a very negative person, you dare not to imagine your future. You say, oh, I don't know, you know. Must be very bad things happen to me. Or maybe I won't have anything. I'm still a loser. If you have a very negative thought, you dare not to think about the future. But with God, the psalmist disregard his present pain, suffering, and he looked bright into the future. He know right now he has to suffer a little bit. And right now there's sweat, there's tears, but he has confident hope and a promise. He used the agricultural promise to compare to the spiritual abundance, the mental comfort, and the material blessing. He knows when God is on his side, God will promise him he'll bring back good harvest. So that is the three symmetry of timeline. Just like we study the tense, past tense, present tense, and future tense. So you look back your life, you have to thank God. Present is a bit hard. You have to stay on there. Don't lose hope because you know the future will be different. So let's look into the first section, right? First, verse 1 to 3 talk about our restoration. And that, of course, referring to the return to Jerusalem in the year of 539. Once again, this will be, you have the request to memorize all this, just 2 days. The fall of Jerusalem, once again, which year? Yes, 5 BC, not AD. BC means before Christ. 586 BC, Jerusalem was destroyed, was burned down. By which country? Babylonian equal to today the Iraqi people. In ancient time, those people were called the Babylonian. Right. So they burned down the city, destroy the temple, and they kidnapped massively most of the population. It's called bring them into exile. The word exile comes from there. They are involuntarily brought to a foreign land to be slaves. Lost the country, lost the property, lost their freedom. Overnight, they have nothing. They lost the temple, they lost their country, they lost their family, they lost their possession, they lost their freedom. Can you imagine if someone has everything, but overnight has lost everything? How would that feel? It's so desperate. But it happens because the whole generation or the generation before they sin against God. So God has no choice, have to let them go, let them suffer. But the year of 539, write down, You have the request to memorize this too. One is 586, and the first return is 539. They are officially allowed to return to Jerusalem from Persian Empire to Jerusalem to rebuild the temple. So verse 1 and verse 2 is referring to that. When the Lord allowed the captive return to Jerusalem, to Zion. Once again, Zion referred to Jerusalem here. We were like the one in dreaming. Sometimes good things happen, miracle things happen. How you do? You try to punch yourself. Am I dreaming right now? Is it real? It's so surreal, right? Those moments is not many moments, but sometimes so happy. I don't know what. Sometimes you pass the exam, you thought you are failing, or you got a scholarship, or you got a summer job, you're dreaming, but you know you may not be able to have it. It's so competitive. Or something happened, it's so surreal, but you got it. It's not because you are smart, but because of God. Wow. So we are so happy. So that refers to the 539 BC return to Jerusalem. They never ever imagined they can go back to rebuild their city wall, rebuild their temple. So that is a miracle already. There's a miracle there. So that's why exactly this is verse 1. Let's read verse 1 again. 1, 2, 3. When yes, we are dreamer. 好像做梦, we are dreaming. Wow. God restore the fortune. Restore, the key word here is restore here. God restore us. It's because of the mercy of God. Things change suddenly. Overnight, the king, wow, make the announcement, decree. Not only allow them to go back, but give them finance support. Okay, you guys want to build a temple, rebuild it? I'll give you money. I'll give you permission. I'll give you financial support. Never happened before. Never happened before. But God moved the king's heart, so it can happen. But even though the first 3 verses is a very happy sense, however, sometimes good things happen, and then following is another test. Now, it's like this. Life is like this. You will not have good things happen all the time. Also, you will not have bad things happen all the time. It's good and bad sometimes. Or good, and then bad. Good and then bad again. Or bad. Oh, good. Depends on how God want to train you, right? Now, they are very happy. They were receiving, imagine you are in the year 586. You're one of them. Oh, the king said you can go back. And then you pack up with your family. You decided, this is once in a lifetime opportunity. I want to do something for God. You probably were born after the exile, right? Because you're still young at that time, because almost 70 years passed, all the old people, they cannot move or die already. So you were told that you are the chosen people of God, just like you are young age. You're 20-some years old. Now, let's go back. People told you, do something big. Restore. We build a temple. Rebuild for God. And you are chosen people of God. And then you are so motivated. You pack up everything. Maybe you have a young family. Your wife, your children. You forsake everything in Persia. Already Babylon fallen. Or Persia is there. And then after 4 months or 5 months journey, you reach Jerusalem. What did you see in Jerusalem? What do you think you see in Jerusalem? Do you think it's something very beautiful, very good, very promising? What do you see? You see this kind of images, piles of rubble. All right. Arriving Jerusalem, what do you see? Oh, everything was broken. Everything was burned down 70 years ago. Right? Let's read this. The dream. 1, 2, 3. This Okay, this is the background. You were so highly anticipated something great will happen, but now you see the reality. Just like, oh, you got a dream job, or you pray so hard, you married that sister. Now you are in a marriage. But suddenly you find out that, wow, marriage is so hard. She's so emotional, right? She's yelling, crying because you make some mistake or you didn't know I understand woman. Or the sister, you think you marry your Prince Charming, but suddenly you find out that he's not that good. He has a lot of bad habits. He's so not comforting, not understanding you. And he's so lazy, right? After work, you go to play his video game. He invites you to play with him, and then you shout. Oh, and then you say, wow, is marriage is like this? Am I stuck with this person for the rest of my life? Were I blind when I married? Oh, you think that sometimes you think marriage is so beautiful and wonderful. But and you enter, oh, harsh reality. I'm not scaring you, okay, sorry about that. But sometimes reality is very different than your expectation, right? Oh, you're so hard. Wow, you get a dream job. You're in the tech company. You know, you're so proud of yourself. And everybody's so admiring you. You tell people, oh, you work in Meta, you work in Google, Alphabet. Or you are in a big five accounting company. And then the first week you got beaten up almost. All the things you don't know how to do. Your boss shouting at you. The deadline is so overwhelming. And then the stress you cannot handle. You come into reality. You have a dream, but reality is very different. Life is full of surprise. Good surprise and bad surprise. But you still have to deal with it because life have to go on. You cannot back out, right? They already arrived there. They cannot say, "Oh, I shouldn't have come here." You know, of course, some people say maybe it would be better if I have stayed at home. You know, life is even though it's a slave, we're in a foreign land, but life is not so hard. I don't have to do this hard labor job. I was a small merchant. I was a carpenter. I have a small income, but I don't have to do this hard labor job in this ruined place. But no, you cannot look back. You need another miracle. Write down. Sometimes you need a second restoration. When lives turn a change to the south, you need God to restore again. Not just the first time He opened a way for you, but you need another miracle. You need another restoration so that you can not only survive, but you know why God bring you here. God bring you here not for you to enjoy life. Of course, you're thinking, oh, if I have a good job, if I marry the right person, my life will be good. But sometimes God allow bad things to happen. Let you see the ruins and how you can rebuild it. Right? Rebuild your own character. Rebuild your faith. Rebuild your hope. So that is exact expectation meet reality. The dream was good, verse 1 to 3. But the nightmare is when they see the ruin, right? So they ask for a second restoration. And sometime in our life, exactly this is what we want. Not only restore one time, God restore us one more time, second time, right? So this is very important. Now let's look at some geography or the background, the Hebrew words. We talk about the present and the future. Oh, already and not yet. Hebrew word. Okay, the first word I want you to focus on in this psalm, one of the key words. You know, every psalms have some key word. The key word is this psalm is restore. The Hebrew word is shav. Restore in English. Return or restore. This word shuv or shav was translated into return or restore. 福星 in Chinese, right? 福星我们 return or restore. So this word repeatedly, the root, for example, in verse 1, right? When the Lord returned the captive, return our fortune, right? Or in ESV, translated, when the Lord restore the fortune of Zion, right? So the word return the captive and then restore the fortune. The root is the same as SHUV, shuv here. So we have to focus on this word. And then verse 4 again is happened, right? Verse 4. Restore our fortune, O Lord, like the stream in Negev. Once again, restore here. So God is a God of restoration. I really like this saying, right? Let's read this together. 1, 2, 3. God. I love this. Right? God is a specialist restorer. Right? Restore. What is restoring mean? Right? If you study art, how many have studied art? Study art, right? If you study art, there's one area specialty is called art restorer. They restore old art, old painting, right? Old sculpture. Though they were all the paint fallen, the damage, they will repair it to the former glory. So it's an art restorer, right? I like this lady. He restore the painting, right? And of course, restore sometimes also mean your basement is flooded, or you someone to restore to the former way. Restore can mean repair and even bring back the former, or even make it even better than before. So God is the restorer. What can God restore? First, he can restore our fortune, right? Restore the fortune of Zion, verse 1. So many bad things happened. They were broken, they were in exile. But God restored, God turned things around, turned the table. The one who destroyed them got destroyed, which is Babylonian, right? The one destroyed the Jewish people got destroyed. And then God raised up another country, allowed them to rebuild the temple. So that God can turn things around. Your life is on the hands of God. Write it down. The script is written by God. It's not by anyone else. Just like a novel, the plot can twist and turn very easily. You read this, wow, it seems that, wow, it's very pitiful, it's very miserable, right? It's very bad, all the bad things happening. But when it reaches the lowest point, God can twist and turn. The plot has changed. He went up, just like Joseph in the Bible. God restored Joseph. He was sold to Egypt. He was wrongly accused. He was in the prison. He was forgotten. Now, you think his life is finished. Dead dry, finished. He will be forgotten, rot in prison for the rest of his life, right? Who knows that suddenly one day, he got remember, interpret just one dream for Pharaoh. And the next day, he's the prime minister. Just one day, God can turn his fortune around. Right? You never know. Recently, I watched the World Cup. How many of you watch World Cup? Right? There's one goalkeeper, very, very famous, but I forgot his name anyway. He only famous when he did World Cup. He was so broken. He was 40 years old. He worked for a very lousy team. It's not famous. He tried to find job, but no one hired him. But this time, in World Cup, he's the goalkeeper of Copper Verde. Right? You know that guy? He's the oldest goalkeeper, but he was so good. He was just so magical. And he saved so many attacks, so many score. Stop all the team from attacking them. And he brought the team into the 16. Right? So he became famous. Overnight, he have from just a few thousand followers in IG become tens of millions. And now all the big teams are trying to hire him. Wow. This is a turn of fortune. And then the champion Spain, right? The coach. I read some of the news. That coach, 10 years ago, he was almost out of employment. No team want to hire him to be coach. He tried, but no private team want to hire him. He almost think that maybe he got forgotten. Maybe he will ever leave the industry. But someone encouraged him, maybe you should apply for that under 18 Spain national team coach. He said, well, I have nothing to lose, right? Even I lose, so many teams has already rejected me. If one more team reject me, I have nothing to lose. So I apply. Oh, one of his co-teammates before, he knew the big guy, knew someone in the federation. And then he got that job. And from then on, he worked not only for the under 16 national team and then the adult team. And then this time, bring Spain to win the World Cup. He was in the brink of totally forgotten in the sport industry. But to the point of leading the team, Spain, win the World Cup. He was a very devout Christian too. He said every day he thanked God. He said he prayed every single day. Not to pray that God give him victory or help him to win the match. That coach said, I pray to thank God every day. I don't pray to ask for things. I pray to thank God. So touching. Sometimes you read those stories. So God can turn your fortune around. Yes, maybe this moment you are broke. You're not very good at school. Right? You're not smart. You think that you are not doing anything worthy. But don't lose hope. If you put your hope in God, trust in God, it's very easy for God to turn your fortune around. You can just be given one opportunity. You don't even have to be good at school or like GPA 4.0 or be very smart. Just one opportunity, God give it to you. You can turn things around. But of course, you have to prepare yourself for that day to come. Right? If you are not prepared, even though that opportunity given to you, you will spoil it. So God can restore your fortune. But not only fortune, write down. God not only restore your fortune. God can also restore your heart. God can also restore your heart. Sometimes your heart is broken, right? God is in the business of resurrection or restoration, and you are that business, your whole being. God can restore your fortune. God can restore your health, right? Health too, you can write down if you are sick, if you have some sickness. You try many doctors, medicine, no use. You pray. If it's God's will, God can restore you. Right? But the health, the physical health, is not the most important thing only. God can restore you, your mental health and your spiritual health. Mental health and spiritual health. Mental health is very difficult to restore. They can give you medicine, they can give you drugs to have you feel better, sleep better. They can control the symptom, but they can never truly restore a person by just talking to you or giving you medicine. You need God to work in your heart, especially if you had a broken heart. If someone broke your heart, your family broke your heart, some people were brought up in a very unfortunate family. They don't have parental love. Some maybe don't even raise the father. Or maybe one of the parents physically abused them. Right? Or even some in the worst case, some children were sexually abused by their relatives or the close friends. If you were this victim of this, you have to talk to some professional, someone you trust, spiritual. You need some healing. If you went through abuses, whether it's physical abuse, sexual abuse, psychological abuse, verbal abuse, if you need help, you have to find help. But if those help the therapist only use human word to smooth you, to comfort you, it's good. You can feel a little bit better, but the total healing cannot be there without God. Because God is the one who created the heart, and God knows our suffering. Your counselor may not know your suffering. He didn't go through what you went through, right? Yeah, he tried to counsel you. You are from abusive family. But he himself maybe, or she himself maybe never abused before. How can he understand you? Right? So you need God, who is the healer of all things. He's the restorer of all things. Right? As I mentioned to you, there was a sister who have serious depression. And now today I want to share another brother who had very bad depression. That happened after he retired. He entered depression very badly. For no reason. He just feel life is empty and no meaning anymore. Because before, every day he went to work. But now no work. He feel depressed. He even committed suicide. But thank God he wasn't successful. He drank some poison. Wow. The wife rushed him to the hospital, wash his stomach, clear everything out in time. But that poison damaged his kidney already. He was told by the doctor, you have to go through dialysis your whole life. And the depression is there. Wow. The wife, also an old lady, old sister, was so devastated. Now we are thinking that our retirement just started. We started to enjoy life. Why? We have to go through this. How do we survive this? How do we face the future? But he remembered the Bible. He read the Bible. Pastor, preacher, deacon visited him and encouraged him to read Bible and pray every day. God restore all things. Read this together. 1, 2, 3. When yes, God can heal. God can restore. This is what the Bible promised. So she listened to the advice. My husband is in depression. She's sick. She have to bring him to dialysis every week. But I believe God can restore him. She has the faith. She stood up. She said, okay, from now on, every day, I have to really pray. Pray hard for my husband and for myself. And for 40, 50 years, she never read the Bible. She only go to the church, but she never read the Bible. And she didn't understand what the sermon speaker say. She just sit there and go home. She never really seek God's word. But from that day, she was encouraged. You have to read the Bible. She took it seriously. Okay, every day she read. She will copy some Bible verses on her notebook. And then read out loud and memorize and mark her Bible. And when she has questions, she'll ask the preacher, oh, what that verse mean? She's so hungry and thirsty. She's just like someone who is so broken, but she need repair, restoration. Really praise and thank God. Miracles start to happen when someone really turns to God. So when she pray, she has strength. She's not afraid. And she continues to support her husband. The first miracle is God restored the husband's health. God restored the husband's kidney. At the beginning, the doctor told the husband, right? Rest of the life, dialysis, 3 times a week. But miracle happens. After a while, doctor say maybe 2 times a week. After 4 months, doctor say, just come once a week. And after one or 2 years, doctor say, well, you don't even have to come once a week. For some reason, your kidney works again. So don't have to come for dialysis. Wow, the wife was so encouraged. It's really God restore. And how about the mental health? Getting better and better. Yeah, still rely on some medicine to help sleep, to control, but no big swing anymore. No more like thinking to die or this serious depression anymore. Under control, getting better. The medicine the dosage reduce, only the minimal. And it become normal. He is happy again. He pick up some hobby, like drawing pictures, helping the church. So God restore him even better than before, right? Even only his one eye's working, one eye's not working. But it's every day he still copy the Bible, write down the verses he likes, just like the wife does. God really is a restorer, right? Read this or copy down this. 1, 2, 3, very important. Life, tear. Yes. Maybe life is okay for you. Maybe now you're going through some tough time. Sometimes you have tears. You don't even know who can understand you. But God restore. Your heart got broken, but God will break down the pieces. Our Lord Jesus Christ will pick up those shattered pieces. People break your heart. No one understands your suffering, but Jesus will pick up all the pieces and restore it. Human restorer will never make it even better than before, but God can do it. Right? If you look at all the saints in the Bible, they were so broken, but God picked them up from pieces, put them back together, and used them. Use them for a better purpose, so that they can encourage other people, work for God, right? Yeah. So remember, God is the one who restores. And the restoration sometimes can happen very fast. The restoration sometimes can happen very fast. How can this restoration happen? What is it compared to? Right? Let's read verse 4. Let's read verse 4 again. Verse 4. (126) verse 4. 1, 2, 3. How did the psalmist compare God's restoration, war restoration? God's restoration can happen very fast, like stream in the south. Negev, that word means south. Southern part is desert, right? The stream of the south, the riverbed in Negev, most of the year it was bone dry because the south is a very desert area. But some distant rain caused violent flood. You think this place is no rain. The riverbed is driven, the river is dead. But you know what? You think that is not dead. God can bring back the restoration in a very short period of time. Right? Oh, this video doesn't work. No. Oh, only the sound. Oh yeah, it was working. This is the Negev River. The music is quite dramatic too. Once a year, when the distant mountain, the rain fall or the snow melt, people have to escape, otherwise they'll be washed away. It will become a full river running again, right? So this is the imagery. Of course, 2,000 years ago, they don't have video. But the letter will cause you, next time when you read this verse, think about God's grace, God's power, God's healing, God's miracle, and God's love will be just this river of peace, of joy flood your heart. And your heart will never be dry again. Your heart will never be desolate again. because God has promised you, right? God will bring back the fortune. But at this time, coming back, at this time, you have to keep the sowing. Yes, it's tough, but you have to keep up your work right now, right? Tears doesn't stop the sowing. You shouldn't complain. You shouldn't say, oh, life is too tough. I have to give up. I have to go back. No, if you give up, you are a true loser. If you give up your faith, you are a true loser. If you lose your faith, you lose everything. Write it down. If you lose your faith, you are a true loser. You lose everything else, you are not a loser. Even you lose the whole world, you are not a loser. You have God, you are not a loser. But if you lose your faith, you are a true loser. Because without God, you can do nothing. Right? So the next thing is you have to keep sowing the seed. Keep whatever you're doing right now. If you're a student, keep studying. If you're a worker, keep working. Don't let the past beat you down. Don't use the past pain as an excuse. Yes, you cry. Okay, cry 1 day, 2 days. Wipe your tears. Move on. Don't dwell there. You cannot say, oh, just cry, cry, cry. Cry is okay. While you're crying, you still have to sow the seed. You have to swallow this toughness. Bite your teeth, bite your lips, even cry. Okay, cry a bit. Continue sowing the seed. And then if you keep doing, that sowing of the seed can refer to many things. Keep your faith. Preach the gospel. Right? Do your work. Maintain your spiritual health. And eventually, things will grow, you will harvest. And this very famous verse is forever remembered. As a Christian, this ultimate harvest referring to preaching the gospel, right? Sowing of the seed, verse 5, sowing of the seed referring to preach the gospel. Write down, verse 5. Sow in tears mean preaching the gospel. Evangelism, work for God. Yes, you have so much tears, but you will bring the harvest joyfully. Just like Jesus Christ. When he came to the world, he preached in tears, sweat and pain and blood, but his harvest was big. We are his harvest. So hopefully this hymn, this psalm give you some inspiration about shout of joy. But before you have shout of joy, you need to have sow in tears. May God help us. Let's all pray in silence.